Hello, 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 everyone who is watching us today. The one and only, the man, the legend, the myth, Adar Ziv. Hello,
Thank you,
Adar.
Arturs. Great opening.
Super, super, super happy actually to see you. As we discussed before the call, funny enough, even though we know each other for quite some time, this is the first time actually we see each other on camera and never met before in life, in person.
Yeah, it's quite surprising that it didn't happen.
The conversation today is about your main profile, about what you do, obviously the investments, and you are trying to find the prominent companies, sponsor them, and obviously you're the master as well of networking and LinkedIn preacher, and so
Mm,
we can discuss these things. I have a couple of questions to you. Before
yeah,
we start, though, also one thing. Mate, huge congratulations once again on your new business project, the
thank you.
FAM community, which is very, very interesting. Again, I think capitalizing your strengths that you have is the most straightforward and transparent way to progress. If you want to share a couple of words before about this project, that would be great.
Of course, of course. So I'll just give some background. Like you said, in the past 2 years, I've been largely focusing on investments, speaking with hundreds of pre-launch, post-launch, more founded companies about investment in their projects, co-investment, JVs, etc. So I've been exploring the space quite a lot. Funnily enough, there's not that many companies that invest from within iGaming. So it's a relative new initiative by YOLO, by Soft2Bet, and then by Ace Capital, the company I co-founded. So this is a lot of what I've been doing. But then more recently, I'd say in the last 12 months or so, I realized, along with several other people, that there's actually a new emerging sub-industry, so to speak, crypto gaming. And it's growing by the day. And it brings a lot of new initiatives, innovation, new people coming in as well into gaming and bringing in something new. I've been exploring this space more and more, and not just from a business perspective, but also from a human perspective, getting to know the founders, the B2C founders, the B2B founders, the teams, understanding their motivation, their experience, their lack of experience sometimes, or their blind spots, etc. This is really how I came up with the concept for FAM as well, because at the end of the day, and you touched on this at the very beginning, it's all about human connection, speaking to people, understanding their motivations, their background, their experience, understanding how they can help you, if they can help you, and what you can learn from them as well. This is how I came up with the concept for FAM, which is community, a network at the end of the day. It's very focused on growth, on good, valuable connections, and on enablement as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love it. I love it. Great initiative. But practically speaking, Adar, let's say if we talk about operator, what operator would gain if he would join your community? And as well as probably, as I understand so far, you're kind of collecting the pool of operators and platform providers in the same ecosystem, right?
yeah.
So what would be the benefits for both parties to join such a
Yeah.
community?
First of all, it's not just operators and platform providers. It's operators and all the different beats that can help them grow, that can help them scale. So platforms is one of them, but the other ones is game providers, PSPs, user acquisition partners, streamer agencies, SEO, you name it. Anyone within the iGaming sector that has some experience with crypto iGaming, because it's different and can help move the needle. Coming back to your question, if you're a B2C, crypto B2C today, most likely you are not from gaming. At least these are the ones I've seen, and I've connected with over 50 different crypto iGaming operators. Most likely you're quite young, in your early 20s, and most likely you are not from iGaming. That means that in the past 6 months, 12 months, you've been head down building something. And when you raise your head, i.e. post-launch, you don't know that many people, and you're looking for a reliable streamers agency, and you're looking for a reliable SEO partner or a good games provider, people that can leverage what you're doing and already have some experience in an industry that you have just penetrated very recently. So I think this is what FAM comes to answer, basically. It's all about acceleration of discovery and networking, and hopefully doing it quicker and more efficient. So rather than you waiting 2 months, until ICE, or
Right.
a few months
All
until
right.
Sigma, you have actually the platform to give you those connections quickly.
Right. The guys being very straightforward, as well as sometimes if I need some kind of a connections, me or my team, definitely we can approach Adar time and he knows everyone. This is amazing. I was recently reflecting, obviously, on my LinkedIn and the inbox. How many messages do I get? Usually I skip 80% of them because at the point I feel they're not relevant.
Mhm.
But after I started to analyze what you do as well, with all the respect, I
Mhm.
understood, and I heard somewhere you mentioned that you at least have 2, 3 calls in a day with the new companies, right? You're trying to meet new people, new
Yeah.
companies. Even maybe right now on the table doesn't look that prominent, but you're kind of collecting different solutions in B2B and B2C markets as
Yeah.
well, trying to right bring the human touch there and create the relationship, and then always you're able to connect people even if maybe it's not needed for you, right?
Yeah.
So what's the magic about it? How do you really do that?
You have to put in the time and answer all the messages. Now, I know it sounds a bit excruciating, a bit debilitating, and it's hard, but I do it. And I try to answer all incoming messages on LinkedIn, on Telegram, etc., because I believe that's probably the only way to stay connected and find out about new things and new people, or about people you didn't hear from before, but they've been around for a while, but you just didn't know that they're there. Collect as much information as possible at the end of the day as well. Now, when you're speaking to people, you collect information, you get their insights, you get their knowledge, you ask them questions, and you're ultimately, hopefully, smarter, a little smarter after every call. You're also able to connect them or say, oh, look, what you just told me, I can't help you, but that guy can help you, right? Or that girl can help you. I know because I spoke to them a few weeks ago. As an investor, you speak with hundreds, and most of them you will never invest. It's not right. It's too early. It's not right. It's not relevant. It's too high valuation, whatever. You could either say, okay, thank you, goodbye, or you could say, look, it's not for me, but I know someone that could help you. I know someone that might invest in you, someone that might collaborate with you, might partner with you. And that does not cost much. It's all about self-initiative as well. And I took the other road. I could say, okay, thank you, goodbye, next call. Or I could say, you know what? You sound interesting. Let me try and connect you with someone else. And that someone else actually might validate you for me. So he'd come back afterwards and say, look, I also spoke to that guy, and you're right, he doesn't have anything. Or I also spoke with that guy, and you know what? I asked him more questions, and I found out more stuff, and it's really interesting. You should look at it again. And that happens as well.
I love it. Love it. Listen, this is very strategic approach. I think after the FAM, you need to launch the networking course as well. But I'm afraid only, mate. I'm afraid that because you said you are like showing so much patience and you need to actually reply to a lot of different messages on different social channels. I imagine how much time do you spend on your phone then? Like,
Yeah,
especially if I know you're a family man, so I imagine how much
yeah.
you are on your phone actually.
Yeah, I'm a family man, but I spend a lot of time on my phone. All the calls are on laptop, but the rest is mostly on the phone. The messages, it's a lot.
But
Yeah.
again, as we can see, this is working. That's why we came to the point where you're launching right now this amazing business project. You mentioned the one thing about the crypto space that it's emerging. I wanted to ask you then the general question in terms of the investment overall, because you speak to people all the time, you speak to investors, you have the connections.
Mhm.
What type of trend do you see right now in iGaming? Where the money is flowing right now
Mhm.
currently, and where is drying up a bit? So, what are the trends in upcoming years also?
Of course, I don't have a definitive answer, right? I'm not the filter for all investments, just a few of them. But where I do see trends, I'm focusing more and more on crypto gaming in the last 6 months or so, spending more and more time with the B2Cs and the B2Bs. So I'm a bit biased, right? I could tell you all going into crypto gaming, probably not, but this is what I see. In general, crypto iGaming is taking a bigger chunk every day of fiat gambling. I think this trend will continue in the next months and years. We will see more investments in crypto gaming as well. The nice thing about crypto gaming as well, it's very democratized. Anyone can, so to speak. And we're seeing more and more examples of this, right? Again, we're seeing 20, 22-year-olds coming with 1 or 2 experience in crypto, tech partners building and launching, or raising and then launching. We're seeing this more and more every day, and we'll keep seeing more and more of these, both on the B2C and the B2B side. We will see more platforms. We will see more games providers. Every day I'm seeing more and more service providers around this, and they will raise money. Even if they're bootstrapped at the beginning, once they launch and scale, they will raise money. So we will see more and more money going into crypto iGaming. I'm seeing more and more evidence of this as well, speaking to more and more funds, family office funds, VCs, having one example in their portfolio, but with an appetite to have more. So I'm quite biased, of course, about this, but I would say a lot of it is going into crypto.
If I would ask you, what's your take on this? What's the reason behind it?
Mm.
Obviously, we know the situation with the legislation in the last years. Now you can't be gray. You need to be either white or black, kind of thing. Maybe massive adoption. Crypto, what else? Like, who you could think of as a trend?
Well, largely speaking, it's this white and black, or these two poles: regulation on one hand and a massive adoption of crypto, or growing adoption of crypto on the other hand. Regulation is pushing both operators, service providers, and users towards crypto because it's easier, it's quicker, it's less questions asked, etc. And it's more technological, more current days in terms of accessibility. And then you have crypto adoption on the other side as well. So more and more people are drawn into crypto and using different cryptocurrencies. And then they're thinking, okay, but what do we do with this? What enablers do we have? Where do we spend our crypto? And I think, therefore, they're meeting in the middle. What's nice about this, at least in my perspective, is that in the middle, actually, there's quite a bit of innovation as well. It's not just, now you can gamble on crypto, let's just do the same old thing as before, but it'll be crypto. That's how it started, I think. But now we're seeing more and more innovation coming in as well. So yes, we will operate with crypto, we will be crypto operators, but we will also bring some innovation, some new user funnels, some new content, some new initiatives, new rewarding mechanisms. This, I think, is actually one of the nicest things about what is happening at the moment in the industry.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think we had this kind of a small talk about this recently as well, that the industry lacks of innovation overall. And usually when they say we are crypto operators, they just mean we have MetaMask, we accept USDT and Bitcoins.
Yeah.
I mean, this is hilarious. Definitely industry needs to have some kind of a changes. You're betting on obviously gamification, probably Web3. What else you think can, in your perspective, change actually the approach to the crypto world? When you say crypto iGaming casino, what would it look like in 2026, 2027?
Well, it's so hard to look forward, and say what's going to happen in a year's time. You mentioned gamification or rewarding. I would say engagement. Anything that is engaging and that creates engagement and value over time and entertaining. I think these are the two rather high-level keywords, but these are keywords that should drive the innovation and the exploration. Engaging, entertaining. And I think the best products out there today are the ones that either engage you or entertain you or do both. How? Through loyalty, through content, through reward system, through conversational engagement, etc. But again, it needs to have that mindset, the product.
About the mindset, you mentioned obviously this topic right now. So you're talking to many investors. You're talking to many companies that are looking for investments as well. In your experience, what are the early indicators when you understand that, okay, this is a company that is worth investing to?
Yeah.
And why you think, okay, I need to hold off?
For me, it's always two or maybe three things. It's product, team, and then roadmap, which is the road to execution. The product needs to be damn good. It needs to be at least as good as what's already out there, if not better. And then the team needs to be very good. It's much better if they're experienced already, but if they're not, if they're very young and don't have much experience, they need to be super motivated and super smart. They need to have a lot of drive and stamina in order to succeed, and agility and ability to pivot if and when needed. And they need to be, on the one hand, very focused, head down, focused on what needs to be done. On the other, they need to be good networkers, good conversation people, be able to learn from people all around them, and be able to create good dialogues. An investor will only take you a few steps, right? You need to be able to do the next steps yourself afterwards. You need to have those social skills as well, I believe.
So am I correct to say that, in your opinion, obviously, the discipline, the motivation, the hungriness is more important than, let's say, analytical skills or tech foundation that you have? Maybe you're a super great IT guy and you know the code from 0 to 1. You think the soft skills and discipline is more important in this case?
For me, at least, yes. A more tech-oriented guy will tell you no. The tech and product capabilities are the most important. For me, it's all about the drive. We see a lot, and I've seen also outside gaming. I've seen a lot of tech people have great ideas, good products, zero capability or close to zero capability to execute, and not just to launch, but also to scale afterwards and grow. Very low capabilities there, and a good product idea, good tech will only take you a very small way. right? You need those other skills, those other soft skills, human skills, social skills to take it further. And I've seen this especially in forums with investors and partners. If you don't have good social skills, you will never be able to identify the right investors, speak to them about the right things, and then continue a good dialogue with them and with partners. You need those skills. You will have a great product, yes. Okay, you will be by yourself, isolated. If you want to be able to go to market with the right investors, with the right partners, with the right distributors, etc., you also need to have good human, social, soft skills. Otherwise, people will not want to collaborate with you, or they will just look at you from the side and say, yeah, great product, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. There was the studies, it's like an anonymous survey or something. So they were asking the millionaires and billionaires in America, how did they study at school? And surprisingly, 80% of them, they're mediocre. They were getting like very middle grades. The conclusion that the business analysts did was that the guys that were like getting very bad marks and grades obviously were either stupid or they were too lazy. The ones that were always perfect and excellent usually were lacking social skills. They were spending so much time, obviously, on the studies, they didn't have time to socialize.
Yeah.
And then they were not able, obviously, to open up the doors in life, you know. And we all know actually that a lot of entrepreneurs are not the smartest in the room or in the companies. They're just the ones that are able to connect everyone.
Maybe this example I have given does not apply to all industries, but having been in the iGaming industry for roughly 15 years, I can tell you it's still a relatively small industry. And therefore, social skills and networking will take you a long way. They will help you a lot. Identifying the people from within this industry, the people that you want to do business with, who want to take money from, you want to partner with, and be with 6 months away from now, 12 months away, etc., is a key ability. It is crucial. If you partner with the wrong people or people that will just give you money but will not help you, or will partner with you but will not push you, that's time wasted, and it's precious time wasted.
You mentioned that our iGaming industry is very small still. So the question would arise, logical question would arise, is it a smart place where you invest the money right now in 2026 still?
Would I invest in iGaming? Me personally, yes, but because I'm sort of in the front seat as well. I'm connected with a lot of B2C founders, several B2B founders. I get to see, not everything, of course, I'm not part of their day-to-day operation, but I get quite good visibility about what they're doing, where they lack, where they're strong, they need in order to grow more, etc. So I have this kind of visibility. I think at the end of the day, smart investment is not just investing in sectors that are showing growth, but it's also in sectors that you understand something about. You would not invest in AI just because it's great to invest in AI. You would never find a good project. Investment is not smart money. You need to invest in things that you either put a lot of time into researching or that they're very close to you. And therefore, me specifically, yes, very likely only iGaming. Other investors, I would just advise them to, get their hands dirty. Spend as much time possible, not just listening to pitches, but actually speaking to the founders, getting to know them, getting friendly with them, speaking with them and their partners, speaking a lot with their service providers as well, learning about the industry.
Based on your experience, if you would start, let's say, iGaming business right now yourself, forget about the community. You can create it just because you are you, okay? You spent 15 years on LinkedIn. Oh, so, but let's say you're willing to start the business in iGaming. What type of business niche you would be looking for? And the other small follow-up question would be like, what would your roadmap would look like for the first year? What would you do, like strategically?
Wow. Well, that's a hard question because I speak to people on all levels, in this industry. Like I said, I speak to the operators. I speak to so many different B2B providers. Personally, it's content, actually. I'm a very visual person. I like content. So I think B2C operation sounds too complicated to me. Of course, I love operators. I speak to many founders. I love what they do, but it sounds so complicated. There's so many different things that you need to take care of. Customer support, retention, user acquisition, payments, so many pieces you need to put together is such a big headache. But still, people do it and they do it successfully. I think I would choose content, so a games provider maybe, and try to find very engaging, lucrative, eye candy, and then entertaining content as well, if I were to do it. But yeah, this segment of the market is also quite crowded, and it's hard to both stand out and then distribute. So what would the roadmap look like for this? It would largely be focused on distribution. And good distribution, again, goes back to network for me. It's not about sales. You can build a nice sales pipeline, talk to people, Maybe they'll integrate you. Maybe that you'll get some traction. Maybe. But if you
Hmm.
find partners and friends in this industry, people that have a stake in you, both financially and socially, then I believe you will be able to get better distribution, better deals, better exposure, and hopefully more revenue.
You mentioned again the networking, and actually only today I had a discussion with someone as well from the industry about how the sales pipeline looks among the biggest iGaming companies right now.
Mhm.
And this guy told me that how he picked up the data. But anyways, he said it's only 20-30% of the companies that actually rely on SEO. The rest rely on the referrals, the network. What's your take on this? How do you think? Is it
I
is it
totally
is it like
agree.
this?
I totally agree. It's a lot about network. You can build a network yourself as a CEO, as a head of sales, as a CCO, etc. You should, not can, you should build a network yourself. You should gain people's trust. You should get friendly with as many people as possible. And then you should compensate for the rest with referrals. But referrals should not just be people who are happy to occasionally refer people for you. You should have ambassadors, people who believe in your product, people who like your product personally as well, and therefore will speak about your product with passion. It's not just about, oh, yeah, I know Gamma Stack. Oh, I know someone else, right? Yeah, okay, I'll connect you both. Maybe I'll get a buck out of this. No, these are not the type of referrals you want. You want people who are really passionate about your product and they believe in its value. And they will
Mm.
be your best resellers, your best ambassadors, I believe.
It's clicking a lot because it reminds me of the story. I don't remember what was the name of CMO of State, but he was on a podcast with Pierre, I guess.
Mhm.
And he also was sharing the story about how they made Kenny West, I guess, the ambassador of Stake, how it happened. And there was the same plot, actually. Kenny was already a player on Stake on a website, and he was
Yeah,
loving the product. And then he was more than happy to become ambassador. And now we see how successful this cooperation actually is.
yeah, yeah.
So completely agree.
I touched on this as well in an interview recently. It doesn't matter if it's about personal brand or about selling, your brand. You want as many cheerleaders as possible. First of all, onboarding people and showing them what your product is about, what the services, what the value is, etc. But also good partners, good customers, good investors, etc. You want as many cheerleaders as possible, and that creates the exposure that then creates the pipeline and the sales.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Adar. You have the cheerleaders on LinkedIn, that's for sure.
A few, yeah, I have a few.
I'm jealous, that's for sure. Listen, in terms of the gambling business, there's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of myths as well. What do you think? What people still get wrong about gambling? What is the wrong perception people have about our industry? Maybe for the people inside the industry itself, maybe from the people outside
Mhm.
as well. What's the one common trait?
People look at gambling as very lethal and very opportunistic. In some respects, it is, but like any industry, the cars industry is not a very clean industry as well, and there's several industries that could or should have worse reputation than they do. I regard gambling as largely as entertainment. It's a different form of entertainment, and funnily enough, actually, especially with crypto gambling, we see a younger and younger audience consuming gambling through crypto, but coming at it from a different angle, from an entertainment angle. Again, betting becomes a social thing and something that you could do with your friends, etc. So I think this is changing the landscape as well. We're seeing different customers, different consumers, different end users. I think potentially, and this hopefully answers your question, potentially we will also see a shift in the way that gambling is perceived. It will
Mm.
become more social. It will become more entertaining rather than just this solitary thing that you do by yourself obsessively or not. Therefore, perhaps less dangerous, perhaps as well. Anything could be dangerous if you do it excessively.
Right. But don't you think that there is also a couple of issues, like even with crypto you mentioned, it's very entertaining, but at the same time, a lot of crypto casinos, as you know, have no KYC policy.
Yeah.
And you said yourself, it brings the younger audience. And already our industry has a lot of stigma around it. What do you think? Is it correct move for the industry to be more healthy place?
First of all, we will see more and more regulation, even in crypto. Second, maybe the zero KYC products make a lot of noise, but there's not that many out there. Most of the crypto iGaming operators that I know do have KYC. Stronger KYC, some weaker KYC, but they have some form of KYC. And we will see more and more regulation. It is a bit of a Wild West at the moment, it's true. But not just in crypto. There's a lot of Wild West in fiat gambling as well. KYC sometimes is just done for the operator in order to know that you're Artur and you're not signing up again. So I want to know it's just you. And that is done both on fiat and crypto side. At the moment, it is a bit of a Wild West in some cases. Serious players, the ones that want to stay there longer, don't want to get hit and penalized and have bad reputation as well. They are going to a more regulated, legalized direction, and there will always be, smaller, naughtier players, both on fiat and crypto side.
Do you agree with this statement that you are not able to quit iGaming business? And I'll give you the context, obviously, because of the stigma again around the industry. I thought about it maybe a half a year ago, a couple of months ago again. I was like, okay, just if I decide for any kind of experiment to leave iGaming, just because I was already holding specific positions in iGaming companies, how achievable is that? What do you think about it?
Yes, it's a good question. I did actually leave the industry for 6 years and then I came back. But I think in the first 10 years working in this industry, I did different things as well. I was more sort of back office, I call it, more operational things. Then when I rejoined, I was actually very front office, right? Business development, strategy, investment, etc. So I believe, like almost maybe any industry, as long as you diversify and you keep challenging yourself and exploring new things and not getting bored, then I think you will. There's a lot to explore, and you will likely stay in iGaming. The good thing about iGaming is, again, it's not that big. There is a lot of merit for human connection. If you know people, it gets you somewhere. You recognize people quickly. And actually, very quickly, you fraternize as well and you make friendships. I believe at least this was my case. I think that has it going for it.
You mentioned again connections, and obviously, then I want to ask you, is it about the speed of making connections or it's about being selective, about the partnerships, connections, people you talk to? What is more important for you?
Like on LinkedIn, on networking?
On LinkedIn, on networking basis, even selecting the companies for partnership, anything, the approach itself. Is it more about the speed, how quickly you can generate specific amounts of partnerships just to put the tick in the box maybe, or it's more about like a slow grind, but like thinking carefully and wisely with whom and how, where I
Well,
should
it really
communicate?
depends what seat you're in, right? If you're an operator, for instance, you cannot afford to try and work with everyone. It does not make sense. You need to be selective. If you're a networker like me or someone that is a bit higher level, like more macro view of the industry, you want to work on speed. You want to get as much information as possible, I believe, in order to be informed and to keep abreast, of what is happening. So it really depends on where you're located in this industry.
And the last but not least, do you think the industry needs more innovation, as we discussed, or more discipline?
Definitely more innovation, a lot more innovation. I'm happy to see innovation every day, almost every day, and in iGaming, both on operation side, on service provider side, etc. More innovation, out of the box thinking, new initiatives every day. But I think it's just the tip of the iceberg at the moment. This is an industry that has largely been stagnant for a couple of decades, largely. Yes, there has been some innovation here and there, but I think with crypto iGaming in the past 2 years, we're seeing a real acceleration of innovation. And it's still early days. It really is. Like we will see a lot more. And therefore, I think speed, innovation, willingness to try new things, to be curious, to test new things, to be brave about it as well. These are the things that I think will move the needle.
Don't you think that also maybe discipline and innovation are related somehow? Because before 5, 6 years ago at the exhibition, you could see definitely drunk people already at 10 a.m. in the hall. And
Yeah.
now you have all those boxing clubs. Shout out to Lee and wellness programs with whatnot, and people talk about biohacking and obviously being self-conscious. So probably maybe there's a shift there as well. So obviously the industry got more mature. People started to treat this not just like entertainment or have fun, but actually to do business. And maybe I don't know if you would agree with me, but I lately see that a lot of hirings right now in iGaming are coming from people that are not from the industry, and we get a fresh blood, fresh opinion.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, what is discipline? I like to think of myself, obviously, as a very disciplined person, but also liking to work in a little chaos. right? So sometimes it's hard to say, where does the discipline start and the chaos begin? Where does the chaos end and discipline begins? There's some things that I do religiously with high discipline, like you said at the beginning, answering all the messages, going on the calls. I could say, oh no, enough, I did 3 calls today, I just rest my feet up, and that's enough for today. But no, I like to motivate myself and speak to more people and always think, oh, the next call will be something amazing. The next person I'll speak to will add a lot of value, and hopefully I will add value to them. So you do need some discipline, especially, again, to succeed in a relatively small industry where everyone knows each other and there's a lot of competition. Right? You need to have a lot of discipline. But at the same time, you also need to be quite open-minded and quite creative, and also embrace some chaos.
The takeaway of this call: be disciplined as Adar, and obviously have the same patience you have. Made it seriously tremendous, tremendous. I love it. I love the conversation. Thank you really for finding the time in your busy schedule. I appreciate that, and I hope next time we meet with you already at the exhibition at ICE
For
in
sure.
person.
I'm looking
Right?
forward to it already.
Likewise. Take care, man.
Thank you,
Bye
buddy.
bye. See you.
Bye.